The hearing was supposed to be another routine proceeding until it became a firestorm no one saw coming. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, known for her unfiltered voice and bold stands, entered the chamber calm but ready. Sitting at the front was Chief Justice John Roberts, presiding over a rare public inquiry into judicial transparency. As Crockett adjusted the mic, Roberts gave her a quick glance and smirked faintly. "Let's keep this professional, shall we?" he said. She replied, "Always do." The tension was quiet but clear. Neither expected what would unfold next. The first few minutes were relatively calm. Crockett answered questions about legislative concerns related to judicial ethics. But when she brought up the lack of diversity and lived experience on the bench, Roberts raised his eyebrow. "We aren't here to discuss personal backgrounds," he said curtly. "Let's stick to relevant facts." Crockett didn't flinch. "Backgrounds shape rulings," she said. "We can't talk about law without talking about who interprets it." Roberts let out a chuckle and said, "You have quite the dramatic perspective for someone with a public defender background." That was the spark. The room fell silent as Crockett leaned into her mic. "Excuse me, Chief Justice?" she asked. "Did you just belittle my background in public defense?" Roberts shrugged. I simply meant it's quite different from the experience required to understand high court matters." That's when the air shifted. Crockett sat back for a moment, collected her thoughts, and then delivered a reply that stunned everyone. "Let me educate you, Justice Roberts. While you sat in ivory towers interpreting laws from textbooks, I was defending people who couldn't afford justice. That's not less, it's more." A murmur rippled through the room. Roberts, known for his stoicism, looked visibly annoyed. "Congresswoman, let's maintain decorum." Crockett didn't blink. "Decorum doesn't mean submission. And I won't be quiet while you mock the very roots that made me who I am." The gallery was on edge now, sensing that something historic was unfolding. Journalists shifted forward in their seats. Crockett continued, "You might wear the robe, but you don't wear the scars of the people I represent. That's the difference between theoretical law and lived experience." Roberts tried to move on. "We're not here to debate philosophies," he stated, but Crockett had already seized the room. "We are absolutely here to debate philosophies," she said, "because those philosophies are shaping people's lives." Then she paused. "You want to talk backgrounds? Let's talk about yours." The silence grew sharp. Roberts stiffened slightly, clearly caught off guard. "What exactly are you insinuating?" asked Crockett. Didn't hesitate, pointing out that while you lecture others, your own background has its own unchecked privileges. She leaned forward and laid it bare. "You clerked for judges who were connected to corporate interests. Your nomination was fast-tracked through backroom deals. You've consistently ruled in favor of institutions over individuals. Should we pretend that's not rooted in background?" Roberts tried to interrupt, but Crockett raised her hand. "No, Chief Justice, I let you speak. Now let me." It was one of those rare moments where power seemed to shift, if only for a second. The room, including other lawmakers, sat in frozen attention. Crockett pulled out documents, publicly available records detailing donations made by powerful legal lobbying groups to institutions Roberts had connections to early in his career. "You want to challenge my background? At least mine didn't come with country club endorsements and Wall Street handshakes." The jab landed hard. Roberts clenched his jaw but stayed silent. "You mock public service as if it's inferior. But it's the only place where the law touches real people. And I bring that experience into every room I enter, including this one." As Roberts attempted to steer the discussion back to the original topic, his authority seemed shaken. "Let's not turn this into a personal attack," he warned. Crockett raised her chin. "It became personal the moment you dismissed where I come from. I will not apologize for a background that connects me to the people this system often forgets." The public watching from home began sharing the moment. It was viral in minutes. Hashtags like Crockett claps back and Roberts exposed surged online. She hadn't just responded, she flipped the narrative. What followed was an intense exchange, with Roberts trying to regain composure through technicalities. "We're discussing ethics guidelines," he said. Crockett shot back. "Exactly. So let's start with the ethics of mocking someone for growing up in a working-class home." or being a public defender, or being a black woman in a whitewashed system. Every sentence hit like a drumbeat. She wasn't just defending herself. She was holding up a mirror to the entire judicial structure. And the reflection wasn't pretty. Roberts went quiet for a moment. Then he said, "This kind of rhetoric undermines public trust in the judiciary." Crockett folded her hands. "What undermines public trust is watching the highest court make decisions without transparency, while mocking the people who question it." That silence returned. She continued, "You sit here insulated. I walk among the people affected by your rulings. We live two very different versions of justice, and I refuse to pretend yours is the only one that counts." The hearing, meant to be procedural, now felt historic. Other officials didn't dare interrupt. Crockett's voice rang with the weight of generations behind it. "I come from a place where justice isn't guaranteed. So every room I enter, I bring those stories. And I'm not here to make the powerful comfortable. I'm here to make the ignored visible." The gravity of her words left even critics impressed. Roberts leaned back, no longer smirking. The courtroom had shifted, and he knew it. Roberts finally asked, "Are you implying I'm not in touch with everyday Americans?" Crockett responded swiftly, "I'm not implying. I'm stating it plainly. When your rulings favor corporations, silence workers, and erode civil rights, that tells us everything." She then listed recent cases where his majority opinions were controversial. "We read your decisions, we see the pattern, and we will call it out." The Chief Justice had no quick reply. His usual calm now looked like retreat. Crockett added, "I'm not here to score points. I'm here to expose a truth the public deserves to hear. This court cannot operate in shadows anymore, and mocking those who bring light into it is exactly why the credibility gap is growing." There was no shout in her voice, just controlled, confident conviction, the kind that lingers, the kind that replays in headlines and talk shows for weeks, the kind that rewrites political momentum. As the clock ticked, Roberts tried one last time to redirect. "Let's proceed with the next set of inquiries." Crockett smiled slightly. "Let's..." Her confidence was unwavering. Witness on the defense, she had become the prosecutor of a system that too often silences its critics. "We are judged by how we treat those without power, and I will never allow elitism to masquerade as wisdom in this chamber," she said. The audience, even those behind closed glass panels, responded with discreet applause. Roberts cleared his throat. "Let the record reflect the Congresswoman's passion," Crockett answered. "Let the record reflect the truth." Reporters scribbled every word. It wasn't just a moment. It was a marker or clear sign that the old way of silencing outspoken leaders was breaking down. Crockett had survived the mockery, turned it inside out, and pointed it right back at its source. She walked in with fire and left with the room lit up in its glow. Outside the courtroom, press swarmed her. "Do you think Roberts regrets his words?" a reporter asked. Crockett smiled. "That's not for me to say. But I hope next time he thinks twice before mocking someone who's fought for justice at ground level." Her answer spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, Roberts left quietly through a side entrance, choosing not to speak to the media. The contrast was unmistakable. One figure was dodging. The other was rising. Within hours, clips were all over the internet. Late-night hosts referenced the clash. Political analysts dissected every moment. Crockett supporters rallied louder. And even moderates acknowledged the bravery it took to challenge a Supreme Court justice on record. "She didn't just defend her background," one commentator said. "She exposed the system's prejudice in real time. It was a statement of power, wrapped in truth, sealed with unshakable calm." Back in Congress, colleagues congratulated her. Some whispered, "You said what we've all wanted to." Others warned her she may have made powerful enemies. Responded, "I didn't come to make friends in high places. I came to make sure the people who sent me here know their voice can't be mocked without consequence." Her office phone rang nonstop, her social media exploded, but through it all, she stayed focused, because for her, it was never about a moment. It was about a movement. Judge Roberts, days later, gave a brief comment. It was a spirited exchange. "Democracy thrives on different voices," he said. But his tone was subdued. He didn't repeat his earlier jab. He didn't deny what was said. That alone spoke volumes. As for Crockett, she pressed forward, introducing new legislative efforts to increase judicial accountability. "If nothing else," she said, "maybe now we'll have fewer closed doors and more open eyes." In the end, the clash wasn't just about Crockett's background, it was about how far someone is willing to go to defend it. She showed that grit and truth carry more weight than legacy and robes. She didn't walk away quietly. She walked away louder than E.